Hello there, Meow Mentors. It's Cat Lady Justin, and this is the Kitty Boss, where you pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. Today is our New Year's special. Let me adjust the camera real quick, guys. It is not New Year's, obviously. It's well past that time. But we are celebrating our new year and various things such as resolutions. And one big thing we were going to talk about is breaking bad habits, but not yours, or maybe yours. We'll talk about yours too, but your cat's bad habits, because everybody's got things they wish the cat didn't do. And we'll talk about how to go about doing that and instilling good positive habits in your cats. Like, for example, I take my cats outside, supervised, and then they'll go in the house on command. They did it today, both of them. Emily, go inside. Charlotte, inside. And poof, they go. They need a little encouragement. Sometimes, go on. But they'll go on command, which is really cool. So how do we get them to do that? Well, we'll talk about that during the episode today. And we have a very special guest that I'm excited about. So with further ado, one second. I have somebody here saying everything you always wanted to know about cats and more with Justin and the very fabulous Dr. Rachel. Have a great show. So on that note, Dr. Michael Parrott gave you an intro. It's there on the screen. Everything you always wanted to know about cats and more with Justin and the very fabulous Dr. Rachel. Have a great show. Thank you very, very much. So I'm sure we'll have a great show. So Dr. Rachel, Happy New Year and great to see you. Welcome to the show.
Happy New Year. Thanks. Here we go. I'm ready.
From Michael Parrott, Dr. Rachel Geller, biggest fan. Yes, we know. And she does too, and we appreciate it and are so grateful. So let's bring on our special guest, who is a very special person who does have an affinity for cats. And one of the things he does is he's a holistic practitioner named Juan Dargent. And I'll tell you in a minute why he's here, even though he's not a strictly cat and nothing else type of person. The reason is that, for me at least, this is my experience and opinion, your energy affects your cats more than you think. So having someone who can help you to feel good, both physically, emotionally, and energetically, will help your cats too. Everybody knows, Dr. Rachel, I'm sure you could confirm, your cat knows when you're stressed. Your cat knows when you're off. Do they want to help you? Yes. Can they help you? Yes, they have healing powers, which are not magical. They're scientifically proven these days. And Juan can help you as well. So he's here to talk about that, help you help your cats. Happy New Year. Yes, Paul Bear. Happy New Year to you too. Thank you very much. So welcome to the show, Juan. It's I'm very happy to have you here. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's an honor and privilege.
Thank you very much. So let's get into it then, and let's talk about the new year and cats and New Year's resolutions. What might that look like for a cat? Well, your cat probably doesn't sit there and think, okay, this year I'm going to lose weight, or this year I'm going to make more money. Okay, that's fine. You might have some New Year's resolutions for your cat. This year, Mike, I'm going to get the cat to stop scratching the sofa, or get the cat to stop jumping up on the counter, or get the cat not to knock down the Christmas tree. Oh, no, we talked about that already last month. Never mind. No Christmas tree discussions, please. But cats sometimes have bad habits, whether it's related to the litter box, or whether it's related to behavior, or whether it's related to interaction with people, interaction with other cats, children, and all of that. So it's a big topic, but let's try and take a view for it. Of how might we start to fix those bad habits with the cats. Dr. Rachel?
Well, I think the number one way we need to begin if our cats are engaging in behaviors that we find inappropriate is to realize that from the cat's perspective, they're not doing anything wrong. So cats don't think of right or wrong or good or bad or behaving well or behaving badly the way we humans do. So if your cat is behaving in a way that you don't like, the reason is there is some problem that cat has in her environment, and she is trying to solve that problem as a cat. So it's really something, if we're talking about resolutions and we want the cat to change her behavior, often we humans have to figure out a way to change our behavior or to change something that we are doing as well. So it goes hand in hand. So for example,
Yeah.
let's say your cat is scratching the couch, not her scratching post. Well, she's solving a problem, right? She feels like she doesn't have a good place to scratch. Maybe your scratching post isn't tall enough. Maybe it's not the right texture. Maybe it's not in the right location. There could be all kinds of reasons why your cat doesn't want to use the scratching post that you have provided. So she's using something as an alternative because what she has isn't working for her. So often it takes a little bit of detective work to figure out what isn't meeting the cat's needs and what we can do to help. So cats don't really misbehave. They don't act badly on purpose. They need to fulfill certain basic instincts and needs. If they can't fulfill it one way, they're going to fulfill it another way.
Yeah, and I'd like to add that how not to fix your cat's bad behavior, and that is through punishment.
Yes.
So the one thing we don't want to do is punish the cat, and that includes spraying it with a spritzer bottle. That includes hitting it, slapping it, spanking it. All of that does not work with cats
No.
because the only thing that teaches the cat is to be afraid of you, and it spoils and ruins your relationship with the cat. It means that the cat, it doesn't have that loving, trusting relationship anymore. It has a fearful one. Okay, I guess that might work for some people. Some people do that with their kids, right? They have that relationship. However, I don't think that's ideal. I don't think you get a cat because you want it to be afraid of you and avoid you at all costs. I think you get a cat because you want cuddles and you want affection and unconditional love. I hope so. And so that is really the one thing that I would add is do not punish the cat because it doesn't work. Because here's what'll happen. The cat jumps on the counter, you spray it, you spank it. It's afraid. It sees you. It doesn't go on the counter. But when you're not looking, when you're asleep, it's always on the counter.
Right. And here's the
Guaranteed.
thing, right? Punishments don't work because you need to give a cat a reason to like her behavior. And you need to give a cat an alternative to the behavior that you don't want. So I say this all the time. If you spray your cat with a water bottle, all you're going to get is a wet cat who's afraid of you and will wait for the next time you're not there to jump up on that counter again. Because he's not jumping up on the counter to be bad. Cats jump onto high places because they look at their worlds vertically. Vertical space is important to a cat. So if you're not providing enough elevated options in vertical space, that counter is there as an opportunity for your cat to get that elevation that is in that cat's instinct that cat needs. So if you don't want your cat to go on the counter, provide enticing alternatives. You can deter and redirect at the same time, but punishments will not work. They're not doing anything bad in their minds.
Absolutely. And so let's talk about another thing. So when our cat is doing something naughty, sometimes that gets us extremely irritated. That sometimes really bothers us. And we have sometimes, not always, not me, trouble regulating our emotions. And sometimes the spank or the spray or the thing is not so much because I'm objectively teaching the cat a lesson. It's because I'm taking out my frustration on the cat. And this is where Juan comes in. If you could give us a few tips on our own emotional and energetic regulation so that we don't take out our frustrations and stress on the cat.
Definitely. And not only do we tend to do that, but we are a lot of time unaware of it. We are unaware of that behavior. And what I would say, it's the same like when you address somebody, a child or anything else, is like before you do anything, step back, take a deep breath, and look at the situation. It's very simple, but we tend not to do it. We tend to react on the moment instead of taking action for what's going on.
So the
my
breathing is
suggestion,
the breathing is a key thing, is to take a deep
right,
breath, because when we're stressed, we tend to breathe more shallow and more rapidly. So if we stop, pause, and take a deep breath, that gives us that second or two to recollect our thoughts and maybe think twice about what we're about to do. Is that what I'm getting at? Is what you're getting at here?
definitely. And I am a very big proponent of breathing. Unfortunately, I've seen, having dealt with quite a few people, we have learned not to breathe properly. And when I say that is like most we say majority of people breathe we using their intercostal muscle, whereas we are meant to breathe with our diaphragm. Like Justine, I believe you know that when you're singing or you're performing, you breathe with your diaphragm. Singers, athletes, and dancers know that.
I mean,
Unfortunately,
why
the
do you
rest
think
of the
my voice
population
sounds so
doesn't know
hypnotic and
that.
great? I'm joking. I'm joking. I am aware of that. Yes, I am not a professional singer, but I do have to do some singing in certain contexts outside of this, which we don't need to talk about because that'll take up another whole show. But I also try to do breathe with the diaphragm, and I do a few exercises which I learned from a mutual friend of ours.
Mhm.
About right before I start speaking and we go on here, to make sure that my voice is at its best. Not that I'm Anthony Hopkins or Sir Christopher Lee or any one of these legends who have the most amazing voices ever, or Meryl Streep or any of these people. However, it's the best that it can be. My voice is optimal for the instrument that I have. And actually, we should have our friend Dr. Gabriela on this show as a guest on another episode, because she is actually also a major cat lover, in addition to being a legendary opera singer and teacher. But in any case, that I digress there. We both know her. So the breathing is important, and I definitely appreciate that. I'd like to take a moment to in the middle of the show today to let everybody know that when we're talking about behavior, we're talking about Dr. Rachel Geller's behavioral services. And Juan, I'm sure you'd be surprised to know how much her services cost, because Dr. Rachel Cat Behavior is free of charge. She does this because she's so passionate about keeping 1,000 cats in their home every single year that she offers what she does with no money coming into her. And her books that are bestsellers, she donates 100% of the profits to local, not controversial national charities where 90% of the money goes to buy the CEO a jet, but to local shelters and charities that help real people and real cats. And so she is an absolute philanthropist and benevolent soul who does this. I did ask her on one of our early episodes years ago why she does that, how she can afford to do that. So that's not a relevant thing. The relevant thing is that's what she does. And so what I tell people is, if you're thinking about surrendering your cat or abandoning it or whatever, however you want it, she puts it so politely. She's so lovely. Surrendering your cat. I condemn these jerks who abandon their cat. But in any case, that's Dr. Rachel. And so I tell people, go to Dr. Rachel Cat Behavior, which is RACHEL, spelled that way, Dr. Rachel Cat Behavior.com. But anyway, we can all connect on social media and find each other very easily, because booking a session with her costs nothing. And so I just wanted to take this moment to digress and let everybody know of that phenomenal thing that's there, because I'm not selling anything. It's free. So I think that's amazing. And karmically, you could have nothing better than that for your cat karma. So Dr. Rachel, I just shared that with the world so that they would know that they do not have to surrender their cat right away. They can first give it a chance and see what you can do for them. And you know what? You're pretty good at what you do. So we have that. And look at that. Wow to Dr. Rachel. That's what I say, because, it's really, whether it's affordable or not to do it, even if it is affordable to do it, because many people could do that kind of thing, many people choose not to do that. They choose to be compensated. And I don't condemn people who do that either, because we have lots of friends who are professional cat behaviorists who do charge for their services, and they're fantastic and they do a good thing in the world and they should be paid.
Yes.
And so it's not a condemnation. It's just a special thing that our Dr. Rachel does. And I saw that you brought a guest with you, a fourth unplanned guest who is a little black and furry.
I
So,
do. I have a little baby who's been on my lap.
Oh,
Yes.
there you go. Hi.
Yes, an extra guest star for today's episode.
Yeah, and mine are here. Yep, mine are here in the room. Charlotte is lounging under the radiator, and Emily is. Yep, she's lounging across the room over there, about 15, 20. It's a big room. 20 feet away from me, on her favorite sort of woolen thing. So I won't be enticing them to come here because they are really comfortable and cozy. However, another quick digression before we move on. I am wearing one of my holiday presents.
I love that.
Presents from the year, and it is
That's nice.
extremely soft and furry. However, the real reason I bought it is because and I don't know if anyone saw the picture I shared on my Instagram and social media of me holding Charlotte, because I match Charlotte perfectly. This is actually a calico tortoiseshell pattern of a coat. So I'm like a giant Charlotte. I'm dressed as, it's like a Halloween, could be a Halloween, because I could go as Charlotte. But this was a present, and so I'm wearing it today because it's great and it's warm and cozy. All right, so that's enough fun stuff. Not that it's all not fun when it comes to cats, but let's go back to talking about habits and cats, as because it's New Year's resolutions, la la la. And one of the things is, so we talked about breaking the bad habits. We talked about what not to do, obviously, and we got some tips on what to do. But now let's talk about instilling a good habit. Like you want the cat to start sleeping in this spot, or you want the cat to start using the litter box consistently. In other words, how to train a cat. So I mean, you could create a course about this, right? That would be probably a 3-hour course.
Yes.
It's not that complicated. I don't want people to think. The last thing this show is designed to do is to make you think that cats are from hell, like that other famous guy. Very rarely cats are like that. It makes for awesome television, but that is the exception rather than the rule. Most cats are absolutely not like that. They're easy.
Correct.
There's an easy way to do it, but that's what we talk about. So let's talk a few tips about the easy way to train a cat. Obviously, you've trained your cat to move its tail across the screen to keep us company and to keep us entertained. So, Dr. Rachel, let's talk about that.
Okay, well, they're two very different things. So if you want your cat to use a litter box, it's a whole different scenario than maybe getting your cat used to sitting next to you or on your lap or so forth. But, for the litter box, you really need to make sure that the litter box meets the cat's needs. It needs to be in a safe, secure location. We usually prefer uncovered boxes because cats like to have a clear visual field. We want to make sure the litter isn't too perfumey because we want it to replicate what a cat might find outdoors and so forth. Like you said, that could be, I have a 45-minute video on how to create the proper, litter box setup and how to have litter box compliance. It's a little bit.
And where would they find that video? On your YouTube?
On my YouTube or on my website, which you had up before, drrachelcatbehavior.com. I provide everything, as you said, free of charge. Anybody can go on that website, access the videos, share them if you'd like. I'm very sharey with everything that I create. So it's there for you to use. If you want your cat to do something fun, you want your cat to sit next to you on the couch or something like that. The best way to do things like that is slowly, gradually, incrementally, and include positive reinforcement and rewards. So say you want your cat to sit next to you on the couch. A great way to start is to, when your cat's maybe lounging or otherwise very relaxed, sit next to that cat and gently move her onto your lap. If she squirms, if she meows, if she's not happy, let her go and wait for the next time to try again. But routinely, when your cat is sleeping and relaxed, try to bring her over onto your lap. If she does stay, Now we want to reward her with something positive and pleasurable. If your cat is food motivated, you could use food. If she's not food motivated, you could brush her or give her a catnip or give her a cat grass or give her catnip infused tissue paper, whatever your cat finds enticing. And if you do this regularly, eventually you can get your cat to sit next to you or to sit on your lap. But the key is you want to go at the cat's pace and let the cat set the pace of the interaction. So if the cat wants to go off your lap, let her go. As Juan said before, don't be upset. Keep it cool, keep it calm, no big deal, and wait for the next time to try again. You can also pick up your cat to bring her to something pleasurable, like pick up your cat to bring her to her food, things like that. So when you want your cat to do a particular action, it's always best to use positive reinforcement, use your voice in a soothing tone, but also you don't want to overwhelm your cat. So whatever the end goal is, you don't want to present that all at once. That's actually known as, the term for that is flooding. You're overwhelming your cat. You're flooding her with too much. So think about what that goal is that you're working towards and start off with a little piece and go step by step by step. Like, I always give this example. If I was, say, like you have a friend who's terrified of spiders, you wouldn't get her to get over her fear of spiders by telling her to jump into like a vat full of spiders. But if I placed one little spider on my hand and maybe stood like 10 feet away and got her used to that first, that could be a starting point. So think about what it is you want your cat to do. If you want to be able to pick up your cat, you don't want to start with going down to the floor and picking up your cat all the way, to your chest height. You might start with just picking that cat up an inch off the floor, putting her back down, and then rewarding her for food. So think structure, think gradual, think incremental, and think rewards and positive enforcement.
I think that's great. And that goes for lots of things.
Yes.
I mean, next month, we'll talk, obviously, because it'll be Valentine's Day, we'll talk about introducing cats.
Oh, yes.
Cat relationships, but not this month. And I think it'll be very similar in terms of a strategy for doing that. But again, that's just for foreshadowing for next month. But this month, we're talking about these habits. So if let's say, for example, I want to get my cat to sleep in the bed with me. And so the best thing to do is not to try and like chain it down or put a leash on it and force it to do that, but to, bring it onto the bed, or maybe spray some catnip spray or something to attract it onto the bed and give it some nice time on there and maybe give it a little treat. Food. Whatever. It doesn't stay that long. It goes away, whatever. And then gradually increase the time that you're spending together doing that. So I think that's kind of, what I've understood from that. So let's talk to Juan a little bit now, because when it comes to instilling good habits, we also need good habits in terms of how we treat and approach our cat, what expectations we have of the cat. We're not like all cats are different. So, Dr. Rachel talked about rewarding a cat, right? And so my two cats. So Emily loves being brushed. So for her, brushing itself is a reward. Once you start, she never wants to stop. Charlotte doesn't like it. She'll tolerate it for, a few minutes, and that's it. So for Emily, brushing is a reward. For Charlotte, brushing is not a reward. She needs to be rewarded after I brush her. Whereas Emily does not need to be rewarded after I brush her because she loves the brushing. It is the reward. So cats are very individual and they're very different. And we need to be observant and aware enough to notice those differences and what is going to do that. So how can we perhaps be more in tune with the energy of our cats and be more aware? Do you have any tips on that, on how we can open our eyes a bit?
Oh, definitely. I would not say definitely for this one, since I'm not a cat expert.
No, but from us,
observing my cat, I do have a cat, actually. Her name is Boo.
Oh, not here, is he?
We have not really trained her, but she is a pretty much well-behaved cat, if you want. Mm-hmm. And she will come by, and if she wants to sit by me when I'm watching TV, she will just come by and be there, sort of asking permission until I tap on the chair That one she will jump on.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And,
Hmm.
but for to come back to your question, it is, I would say, first we need to remember cats are not human. I think that's a thing that a lot of people forget. They want to make their cat behave as human. They are not human. First thing I would say.
Yeah.
And so, and understand, okay, is this behavior really something out of ordinary, which is not part of a normal behavior for a cat, or is it something that I want my cat to do?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
those are two different things. It's like if a cat is behaving differently, there might be something there that causing that behavior.
Hmm.
Um, from an energetic point of view, cats are very perceptive of energy. So they could and not being too woo-woo, our environment, the energy in our environment change constantly. As human, we are not aware of this, but cats, which are very perceptive animal, are aware of it. You will see a cat sometimes just out of a sudden stop and look at something, like staring at something or just doing something and stop and look somewhere else for a
Yep.
moment.
Hmm.
And what may have happened, I'm not suggesting that it's happening, but what may happen at that point is that there's a shift in the energy around. And as they are percept are very, they pick that shift very easily, and they can observe that. So by observing your cat is like, I would say, first observe your cat. Make sure that whatever you want to change is part of the cat behavior. Instill a good behavior instead of a what I would say bad behavior. Because again, there is no such thing as good and bad in
Hmm.
a behavior of the cat. That's the first thing. The next thing is also be aware of that. Okay, there are things that the cat can perceive, and we as human we cannot perceive. And from that, then try to get some help. Get some help on understanding what you want to do, and if this is something that will make your cat happy, because eventually that's all we want, is to have a happy pet or a happy companion around the house, not some another being which
So how can we? Yes. So on that note, you've just sparked a question in my mind. So what's like one thing that we could do to protect our cats when we're feeling off? So if I'm uh in a state, how can I protect my cat from me? Which hopefully doesn't happen a lot, but it might happen sometimes.
okay, if you're in an your cat will pick that up first before you do. If you're agitated or something, your cat behavior is going to change, and very likely the cat behaviors will tend to be is more protective to you than you think it is.
Hmm.
Cat will your cat companion is more protective of you than you are of that animal.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, yeah. So
So
they.
picking up on that energy, they will try. They are said to be energetic sponge, if you want. I don't know if
Yes,
you've
I've
heard of
heard
that
that
before.
from a Reiki master. Yeah, that they kind of take your negative energy or that some
Right.
negative
They
energy
they
away and.
they will pull the they are like a sponge and a filter, if you want. They will pull that energy, that bad vibration, because what energy is vibration, and when we are angry or something like this, or agitated, it's our vibration is very low.
Mhm.
So they will pull up that low energy if they are around, and we allow them to be around. And they will pull up that energy and then filter it so to the point where it will bring up a higher energy in the environment. So really what we want to do is we don't really want to do anything to the cat. Actually, we want the cat to do something to us, which maybe not may we may not think of as
Mhm.
something that we should do, but let the cat behave the way they want to behave and be aware. Okay, I'm agitated. I'm not going to take that agitation or that anger on my cat, but let my cat help me cool down if you want.
Okay, so the cat can help you cool down, which I know, when I'm stressed, there's nothing as therapeutic as a cuddle, a purr, and maybe sometimes even my cats let me do this and they like it, burying my face in their belly and just smelling the cat. There's something for me. It calms my system down. And I know it sounds weird, but I shared it with someone else and she said, no, I do that too. I sniff my cat. So some people are allergic to cat dander and stuff. Whereas for me, it's like healing for me. It's a de-stressing thing. I inhale deeply my cat, either one of them. And they smell good and they're clean. And I don't know. So they are helpful in healing. So that's really great to know. So we are sort of towards the end of the show. So before, I don't want to forget, we have from Mark Golden, Dr. Geller is in her retirement still involved with making people's lives better. A happy cat means a happy cat parent. Yes, people always are surprised to hear that because Dr. Rachel doesn't visually appear like a retired person. It stereotypically appears, but she is retired, and that's the secret. That's how she can afford to do that. And so that's great. So thank you for sharing that, Juan. That's very, very helpful advice on regulating our emotions and all of that. And so let's wrap up our show today with Dr. Rachel and saying, I want to do this. There we go. And let's say, do you have anything that you would like to say or to even ask my Juan, or just tell us and inform us for the new year? And then the last thing I'm going to ask everyone to do before Dr. Rachel has her final say is I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you for one. You could call it a New Year's resolution, but that's kind of a silly thing because most people break them anyway. Although but one thing that you would like, or you would wish, or you would dream, it can be whatever level you want. So it can be a level of I'm absolutely doing this, or it could be a pie in the sky. I wish the world was a better place. Anything you want, but just one thing that for 2024, this is the year that it is, that you would like to see. So first of all, Dr. Rachel, is there anything you would like to leave us with or ask?
Well, I would just wanted to kind of jump on what Juan was saying about cats and how they perceive our stress, they perceive our energy, and then they do want to help us. And so just a couple things that we can do to help them as well is we can always use synthetic pheromone products to which are scent based and help calm our cats. And it just tricks the cat into thinking that they've already deposited their feel good chemicals, and that can help a cat who is agitated or upset. And then I'm going to throw out my favorite thing. Anybody who ever follows me on my cat behavior knows what a proponent of interactive play with a fishing pole type toy I am. So not only is it like the best way to de-stress your cat, if your cat is agitated or upset because she's sensing your angst or upset or agitation, that is the best way for a cat to release tension. But not only that, it's a great way for humans to release their tension and anxiety as well. So your cat is releasing, her concerns, her tension, you're releasing your anxiety. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. That's true. Play can be a form of therapy. So yes. And very effective. You'd be surprised how effective
you would be surprised how powerful
be to bring that spirit of play
Yes.
into your world. And actually, what's interesting, which I've noticed, is that the more, let's say, detached you are from that spirit of play, let's say for whatever reason, life has dealt you hard circumstances, or you're older and just don't think adults should be playing, or whatever it is that's going on with you that's made you detach from that spirit of play and not connect to it for a very long time, the more you're detached you are, the more, if you go ahead and reintroduce it with some kind of game, or with your pet, or just, with yourself, the more therapeutic it is.
Yes.
So it's not something that you can, it's like Dr. Rachel said, everybody wins. So I think that's really, really amazing.
Yes.
So let's get started with our, we'll end the show with sort of one thing that you either wish, or a goal, or a resolution, and any level of commitment that you want to make. There's no pressure here. And if it's nothing and you just want to be, that's fine too. So why don't our special one-time guest, Juan, why don't you get us started with like what's one thing for 2024 that you'd like to be, do, or have?
Well, I wish I could reach more people and just let them understand that one thing that I'm very, very, very passionate about is to breathe properly. Because once you breathe properly, your energetic is going up all the time.
So let's get our breathing right. And on that note, you have a question from Paul Bear. Does Juan deal with pets or humans in Europe via Skype? I think I know the answer to that, but Juan, would you like to answer Paul's question?
Yes, Paul, I'm not a pet practitioner. I deal entirely with human, and I do deal with I can have a consult with anybody anywhere in the world. If you have
so
Skype,
the answer is Europe
Zoom,
via Skype. Yes. Pets, no. Humans, yes. But like I said before, Juan is a cat owner himself, a meow mentor in his own right. And I firmly believe, because everybody knows this, is that your energy, your state, your feelings, your emotion has an effect on the cat. We all know this. And so that's another reason he's here. So it's very, very important. Here's a quick example before I share mine. I used to get some work done with Paul says, thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for asking that question. I used to get some treatment called bioenergetic synchronization treatment, or BEST treatments. And what was interesting about these treatments for stress, a number of years ago, about 10 years ago, for stress, is that they would work really well but they would immediately trigger my cats into bizarre behavior that they didn't do before. So like I'd have this session and then the cats would be weird. And it's like, well, that's annoying. So what I started doing right away is asking the practitioner, would she mind automatically and always doing a pet BEST treatment and reserving all of our sessions, like the last, 5-10 minutes of them, to treat pets, because she did pets. She no longer practices this. So you'd have to, and you're on your own with that. But I'm just saying that I used to get this treatment, and the first time I called and I said, hey, can you do a treatment on my cats? And I paid for it separately. But then after that, every subsequent treatment, and I've only ever done about 8 or 9 of them. So I didn't need any more. I would always make sure that there was time out of my session reserved for the cats, and the behavior never became bad again. It never triggered them again. So they're very sensitive, and they're very in tune with you, and they connect with you on a deep level when they are your pets and you are their human. And so it's really, really important. So Juan, thank you very much. Guys, remember breathing. And if you need to learn how to breathe, there are places you can go to learn various breathing techniques.
It's
but
very simple.
I suggest that you call, that you check out Juan, you connect with him. Just ask me on social media. If you're listening to this, you know where I am. You send me a DM. Doesn't matter whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere, and I'll connect you with Juan, and you can do that. He's not sending me any money or any of that. So there's that part. Paul says, thank you all for your valuable. Thank you again. I appreciate that comment. And I thank you also for listening and always participating. That makes all the difference to make this an awesome show. So I will, actually, no, let's Dr. Rachel go first, and then I'll close up and share mine. So Dr. Rachel, what's one thing, let's say a New Year's resolution or anything?
Well, if I can be pie in the sky. So, everyone who listens to the show knows how involved I am with surrender prevention and keeping cats in their homes. And I do offer 4 times a year a course to become certified as a surrender prevention specialist. And you don't have to be a cat behaviorist. The course is geared towards anybody. It's geared towards people who work in shelters, geared towards people who volunteer in shelters, people who do rescue, TNR, everything. It's a real course with a real certification and real exam. It's approved by the National Animal Control Organization to get CE credits. And the course is only $10, which I do through Community Cats Podcast, and that's just to cover their costs of producing it. But nobody has to pay if they can't afford it. Scholarships are available through Maddie's Fund. So pie in the sky. I just wish as many people as possible would take the course, learn about surrender prevention, be part of the solution, and be part of keeping cats in their homes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I guess it's only fair that I share mine before we actually end the show, just so you guys can hear it. So everybody knows that one of my dreams with my entire kitty boss. So when the kitty boss finishes and Justin goes to the litter box in the sky, when he goes to the cat tree in the sky, not the litter box in the ground, but goes to the cat tree in the sky, I'd like 1 million more cats to find a loving home. Because the pet population is incredibly overcrowded with cats that are unwanted and in shelters right now. And that breaks my heart. So I'd like my whole life to be dedicated to that. But in 2024, my dream is for the Kitty Boss to really get off the ground in terms of people who are listening, watching, following, and just subscribing to what it is that we do. We've got hundreds now, and I'm very proud of that. And I love all of you that are listening, watching, and participating. But I would like 2024 to take us to the thousands. That would be my goal for this particular year. And then we go from there. So thank you, Juan. Thank you, Dr. Rachel. It's been a pleasure. Happy New Year to you. And we'll catch up in a few minutes after I close the show. So that's it, Meow Mentors. I'm Cat Lady Justin. This is the Kitty Boss, where we pick, pamper, and protect your practically perfect pussycat for a lifetime of unconditional love. This is probably the last day of 2024 where you can say this. So I'm going to wish everybody a happy Mew Year.